This is a clouds weather alert.
Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, coming on the air because we have a tornado warning now in effect for parts of Putnam County. This is in effect till 8 a.m. I know some folks may be on the roads and the like, and we have now some radar indicated rotation that's been ramping up here over the last little bit. Tornado warning including Palatka here till 8 a.m. At 7:36, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Hollister, a mile southeast of Interlochen, moving east at 40 miles an hour, though I will say, that's the official statement. There is a little bit of northerly component. That's just how these kind of work here in this type of situation. But a tornado warning in Putnam County right now. You see some greens, winds going toward the radar in Jacksonville. Reds here, winds going away from the radar in Jacksonville. So we need to go ahead and take shelter. Things have escalated pretty rapidly here in toward parts of Putnam County. This morning. They get a tornado warning now in effect. So this is right there about to cross State Road 19, the potential at least tornado. And I'll go ahead and put the debris tracker on. It's hard to see if there's anything out there because we're pretty far from the radar. There may be a little bit of something in here though, but again, a possible tornado in Putnam County right now. Again, watching this, if there is anything, it's not anything too crazy, but it's at 4,500 feet or so is where we see the correlation coefficient product. So if we had debris under that, we wouldn't really be able to see it right now, which would indicate at least even that would be a weaker tornado. If we saw something on here, it'd be a stronger tornado. But any tornado, any time of day, much less during the morning, can be a problem here. So we need to get folks in shelter. A tornado warning in Putnam County. This tornado warning is in effect at 8 o'clock. We're talking about the dangerous storm headed near Palatka, East Palatka, San Mateo, Orange Mills here over the next little bit. So we need to get folks in shelter. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And then, again, you want to get away from windows here. If you can, you want to have those shoes on here. I know it's early and you want to make sure you don't cut your feet up, so make sure you have your shoes on just in case. And then you want to protect yourself, from the potential debris as well by putting on a bicycle helmet, football helmet, or baseball helmet in this type of situation. So, we need to take shelter here in parts of Putnam County. We need to get in toward, the safe spot. This isn't the tightest rotation ever. No, we had that same thunderstorm warning pop over on 7:33, and we, saw the rotation, and right then we were getting everything ready to come on, and the tornado warning came into effect here. You could see it. I mean, even look at that. A couple different areas of spin at one point, but then it really became that one dominant area, and the tornado warning in effect now. I know it's not maybe quite as tight, but it's so far from the radar. It may not necessarily matter too much. It's headed up to a more populated area potentially. So we need to take shelter again. It's just crossing over now. State Road 19, Florida 19. And we're going to keep watching this here. Maybe Lundy over the next little bit. When I say next little bit, I mean imminently headed in that direction is this possible tornado. So we need to take shelter here. And they go between some of the different frames. Let me check some of the other acts in here. Don't see anything else that looks too crazy from this mode right now. We'll watch this here in Marion County. See if it ramps on up. This is kind of in a spot that's a little more favorable for some severe weather and maybe even an isolated tornado. So the overall scenario, I know we're watching it here. We're tracking it. We have that time change, so we're really, not even quite technically, at the, let me check it here. Well, actually, exactly right now at the sunrise point, 7:44, where I'm at least here, it's dark. But it's still, not necessarily too daylight out there. As we look at things, as we track the overall situation, I know the energy factor has really started to pick up. This blue area shows surface-based cable over 500 joules per kilogram. And then we have supercell composite now coming into play, and even significant tornado parameters. So all the ingredients starting to come together. As we haven't seen any warnings in a while around. We had flash flood warnings last night, but now getting some of the other wind and instability parameters to come together in our southeastern zones here now. Potential tornado in Putnam County here. So we just got an update from the Weather Service in Jacksonville here. So I go ahead and click on it. They're sending this out at 7:44. Possible tornado is located near Satsuma or near Palatka, moving east. But again, there's a little northerly component with that as well, and that's at 40 miles an hour. So San Mateo, Palatka, East Palatka, Orange Mills, in that vicinity, all need to take shelter at once here. We could have a tornado in toward this area. I appreciate you guys tuning in and trusting me here on this Monday morning. Monday morning here with folks already with that time change scrambling some. And now we have a tornado warning. Already had the rain here too, but now a tornado warning on top of things. We want to take cover now. Move that interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, a possible tornado in Putnam County. Here's what it looks like on rotation tracker here. And I'll go back. You can see how it tightened up earlier on, and we're going to keep watching all the trends because this is, headed toward a populated area. This is headed, also toward the St. Johns River, so that basin there. So, again, continuing to watch things here, and if it were to be, producing something over that, and at that point in time, it'd be a water spout, but it could be a tornado first, it could be a tornado after that. So, when it's over land, it's a tornado. When it's over water, circulation like that, would be a water spout. So, a tornado over water per se is a water spout. But again, just continuing to watch things here, continuing to monitor them. Again, we're live on the air right now on Facebook, Twitter/X, YouTube, and Twitch. We have a tornado warning in effect right now in Putnam County until 8 o'clock. We're watching rotation. It doesn't look really tight, but we're far enough on the radar away that, I'm not really sure what could be happening at ground level. We've had this before. We can't really tell, but this is where your tornado would be if there is one. It's right there actually in the water at the moment at least. And then and now that latest scan has it, still maybe around that water, depending on where this tracks, we could have a situation here where we, could see it kind of just potentially it could intensify over water, come ashore real quick, and then fall back apart because sometimes you can get a little bit of extra instability over water here in this type of situation. Not that that's, likely, but it's a possibility. As we look here, you see some homes here and the like right along the river potentially being impacted. Let me go ahead and just continue to watch this here. Continue to track this. I think, Palatka proper, it's not at all clear, because you're still in the warning, but you're looking a little bit better than maybe areas closer down toward the water here. So you see the community of Lundy, and then you see that green and red there. And we need to get folks into shelter. Again, a potential tornado in Putnam County right now, as we continue to track the latest information here for you guys. Again, tornado warning, portions of Putnam County, take those tornado precautions. So we have that in effect. I know up toward like Stark, we picked up a good bit of rain yesterday, about 8/10 of an inch today, since midnight, already 9/10 of an inch. So I know those roads are wet. As we're looking at things, as we're tracking the situation. So, again, just make sure you're taking precautions. Make sure you're taking precautions here. Looking at some things, I want to take my topography again as the situation does evolve. So, right over here, guys, is San Mateo. Right over here is San Mateo. And this, we knew that here in a little bit, but right now we're kind of in a situation here as we're tracking things. We're closer to Brown's Landing with a potential tornado, it looks like right now. So as we're looking there close to where the St. Johns River, I'm just checking some things on another source here actually. Has just a little bit more topography for us. So if we're looking at things, so right over here is Brown's Landing, and the potential tornado will be right around there right about now. So hopefully you're taking shelter right there around Brown's Landing. It's that little area right here. That's what this is. And then this spin, winds going toward the river in Jacksonville, winds going away. It's going to be right in that community here, pretty much right now. So, that we could have that. So that's Brown's Landing right in here, guys. Then, as I was mentioning a moment ago, we're also watching spots here like San Mateo. So, as we continue to track things here in toward the weather center, that overall vicinity here, the overall scenario that we're dealing with, this right here would officially be San Mateo. Up there may be technically East Palatka a little bit, but that general vicinity is what we're talking about with this. So, again, we need to take shelter, and we need to take those tornado precautions as we're tracking things here this morning. So, again, just continuing to track everything here for you. It's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. So again, watching a potential tornado around. This is Brown's Landing. And you just saw that kind of go right across that now. That looks like it's picking up steam a little bit. This right here to be San Mateo. Up here is more East Palatka. So maybe headed more to East Palatka here based on that latest scan, but we're far enough away on radar, it's hard to say for sure. So, not confirmed yet. There's nothing definitive, but if we had a tornado where the debris wasn't getting to 4,000 feet, you would have a problem here in that, it's good that it wouldn't be getting higher because that'd be stronger, a type of tornado damage, but if it's under there, you're not going to really see it here on the radar. Because that's just the way the beam works here, we wouldn't know that there's one down if it's not putting the damage up further. But again, a tornado warning, that red box. I'm going to check some other radar sources. Granted, I don't think they're going to be any better, really, but I'm going to check it. I'm going to check the Melbourne radar. Yeah, that's really far away on that. And then I'll check the Moody, but I don't know if that's going to be any better either. And that's really, that's over 12,000 feet here. So, I think this is kind of our best radar view by far. Now, sometimes I've seen it here. It hadn't happened lately. It hadn't happened this year. But over the years, I've seen sometimes you get signatures like this look pretty tight in Putnam, even tighter than this, and they don't really produce. But there's it's a situation where it's rural in the county. So maybe it is producing. It's just not, actually hitting stuff here. But also, it could just be the angle of the radar too, causing some type of a illusion. But with a signature like this, and the only radar really available to give us a good look at velocity at a decent height, you have to have the tornado warning in effect. You have to take precaution here this morning. Putnam County. Again, just continuing to track things here. Again, we're live right now on the air with this tornado warning. We're trying to keep you guys safe and informed. Trying to keep you safe and informed here this morning in this type of inclement scenario. Again, pretty early hour, especially that time change here. We're trying to keep you guys up to date. Keep you guys up to date. Up towards Stark where we're at, we're not seeing anything like, a tornadic situation right now, but I do want to give you guys a look outside. So let me go. It'll be looking back to the west, not toward us. I just want to see how things are looking now. So let me go ahead and jump on over toward this. And you see it, it's kind of gloomy looking here to start that Monday. I already have the hour, that we've moved ahead per se, meaning sunrise is happening. And it's a gloomy start here on this Monday. It's March 10th, 2025. But as we get back on over here right now, we have a tornado warning that is in effect. We have a tornado warning that is in effect right now. I have to have an advisory in play in the broad sense for a larger zone. The yellow is a severe thunderstorm warning. And we're just going to keep watching the trends here the next little bit in toward the weather center. Again, we have a tornado warning here in play. So take those tornado precautions here in Putnam County. Of course, we're always on for every tornado warning storm impacting the 62 counties. We're in Bradford County, but we're always on for any tornado warning storm within the 62 counties. And right now we have one in Putnam County, so a possible one anyway. And it's moving up there into toward the East Palatka area. That's where it's kind of, headed on in. Not confirmed per se. I know the banner's up here, but some of this down here, looking at some of the maps, right there between and at the, edge there and getting between San Mateo and East Palatka. So, again, we have a potential tornado. It's going to be crossing over US 17 here soon. So you need to take those precautions. I know with that type of signature, that may be enough. I think they would at least extend a severe thunderstorm warning. They might even extend a tornado warning here. So we got to be on guard. They're looking further over toward St. Johns County here. Over the next few moments, see another box pop up, but that's, of concern. And we're tracking things. So, again, we're just trying to keep you guys safe here. Keep you guys informed. Again, a lot going on here with a tornado warning. In effect, that's a little weaker, but that's just now over US 17. No debris, apparent there, but there's a situation you gotta be very careful, very mindful of. Let's see what they decide to do. That's weak enough where they may not go with another tornado warning then. We have a lot of rain out ahead, which could, maybe at this point, it may not make things quite as destabilized, but we'll just have to wait and see. As I continue to watch, continue to track. I know later in the week, toward the weekend, we're going to have a major severe weather threat toward the center of the country. Areas like Jonesboro, Arkansas on Friday, and then, like Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Saturday. Could be a major severe weather event that we'll be looking ahead to, unfortunately, for later on in the week. We're talking about it all week long, and you'll want to remember those tornado precautions here. But right now, you got to remember them for Putnam County right here within our 62 counties. You want to seek settle to that 30 building. Nothing's been spotted, but you want to get as many walls between you and the outside as possible and protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet, football helmet, baseball helmet, something like that. Though I am getting word they're going to expire the tornado warning for now, it looks like. So that's some good news. But again, this could ramp back up. They may go with a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag as this moves into St. Johns County here soon. And, eventually it'll be crossing I-95 and then getting, there between around Crescent Beach to Summer Haven. So we're just going to keep watching things and keep tracking them. So the red box go away, the yellow box, that one would go away, but we may see another one pop up further downstream here in a moment. It's a possibility. As I'm looking at things, as I'm tracking the situation, as I'm monitoring things. Again, I'm tracking it live. Again, watching a tornado warning that is just going away. In the last 12 hours or so, we've been, And before that, even a lot of rain around. But the last 12 hours, you see around Lake City, 3+ inches of rain there in Columbia County. Some areas in this type of orange dating back had Orr McAlpin over 4 inches of rain in the last 12 hours, according to radar. Indoor Bradford County since midnight, we're sitting at 0.92 inches there on the gauge, rain gauge. 1,006 millibars of pressure, so definitely seen that lower quite a bit here. Definitely seeing our tornado parameters really ramp up, supercell, composite, and instability all kind of come together toward the southern areas. Granted, there's officially now as of 8 o'clock the formal risk, with that outlook is more toward the south, but really anybody, let's say, and there may be some more action that tries to fill back in later, but just for the purpose of what we're dealing with this morning, let me put the instability on, and this kind of will help you out. So anybody here from just around Jacksonville, back to Stark and to Trenton, give or take, from those points off to the southeast, you still have to remain weather aware. So in terms of really paying attention, further off, not as much. I mean, still in the general thunderstorm risk, which is what the light green is, and we could have some more action later because it's not completely over here. There is a chance of some more pop-up action later, but I'm talking about, with the parameters in play. I mean, really, even you could take it further and say from around Trenton to Gainesville, and then St. Augustine, area points around there down to the south where we have more instability, because that blue is indicative of surface-based keep values there around 500 joules per kilogram. We don't really get much at all yesterday, and now we have that with a higher tornado parameter and supercell composite, meaning this definitely could be surface-based now that, we're getting this stuff further over and toward the south in our area. So, we'll have to watch some of that action there, like in central Florida. We may have more warnings here than we, have. I mean, some of the stuff here, by the way, it looks like they're not going to see any new warnings for now. This is the thunderstorm warning being expired too for Putnam, which is a good sign. But let's watch stuff there toward areas there close to Zephyr Hills. You see Brooksville area and the like, and then further toward the north here, that rotation, you can not even hardly detect it now. So, earlier on we had something much more definitive there. As I back it on up, I mean, you saw it kind of pop in there, and you saw that come up, and then a tornado warning box, and now weaken off some, and around really weaken off there in that latest frame at least. So that's a good sign here. This stuff can be hit and miss sometimes. We'll stick with this just a little longer, but the tornado warning no longer in effect, so that's good. Yeah, that is really weakened there, which is what we like to see. I mean, moving toward the coast is not always like that around here. Sometimes you can have a situation where things really look intense or red, or maybe they do produce or they don't produce. But that's really weak looking now. We have a lot of moisture around, so this is kind of, you can kind of see the little edge here, and in the south we had that signature maybe trying to come into play, give or take. Right on the flank there, it's able to take advantage of the parameters more, and now it's ripped apart. So that's good news. That is good news. It's not looking as well defined now. So what I mean by that, go back here. This is around 742. So you had your rotation a little bit further up in it, and that could have been a limiting factor. It would have been rain wrapped here, but as we're looking at things, as we're tracking things, and my point being is that that was kind of sticking out, but as we go in time here, now it's just really disheveled, so that it really helps here. Doesn't mean something else couldn't redevelop back out here. I mean, there are some areas, these are pretty weak, but we'll have to watch them just in case here on these flanks, but the way that developed was more favorable for a tornado there. Again, continuing to watch things here. And I know Jacksonville office, just like the Tallahassee office, just like the Tampa office, which they cover Levy, Tampa, and Tallahassee, Jacksonville make up the other, 61 of our 62 counties anyway for coverage, and they always do a great job on this stuff, but it's tricky when we're on the edge of, or further away on the radar. That was a tornado warning there that Angie and Yeti was issuing there, Angela and Yeti, from the Weather Service in Jacksonville, and that was actually only the second tornado warning they've issued this year in Jacksonville. In Tallahassee, it's been a way different story, but as we're looking at things, as we're tracking the overall situation here, I'll pull up the coverage map to kind of reiterate that here for you. But the other tornado warning that they issued was back in January, right before we had all that winter weather. A few days later, this was for St. Johns County, only for a couple minutes. So we haven't seen much tornadic activity around this year in terms, of acts in the Jacksonville counties. I mean, I'll go back last year, and last year this time, the Jacksonville office had already issued, let me see here, so we're on March the 10th. Last year, I mean, I have to keep going here, folks, as I'm looking at this. Okay, they had already issued 33 tornado warnings at this time last year. They've only now issued 2 this year, so that's good. I mean, indicative of that threat not being pronounced in our area so far this year. But Tallahassee, it's been a different story to some degree. I mean, I'll tell you what I'm talking about with that here in a moment. As I'm going through things, I mean, they had issued, it looks like 40 at this time, to this time last year, according to the Iowa Environmental Measurement, which keeps tabs on all this stuff here. And then this year, okay, well, they've only issued 2 actually. It's a situation, that it's a little bit of an illusion because we've actually had way more severe thunderstorm warnings over there, though, in comparison. So we've had 39 severe thunderstorm warnings this year in that area, and then compare that with, that's for 2025, and then compare that to Jacksonville's office here. They've only issued 16, so again, just kind of continuing to watch things here, continuing to give you the latest, trying to keep you safe and informed. I know all that, wintry weather kind of has suppressed things quite a bit. It did for a while, but now things are going to pick up, especially toward the center of the country later on in the week. I know this is our current frame here. There's an advisory in play. Just got issued parts Duval and St. John's, 8:30. 40-mile-an-hour winds a possibility there. Strong thunderstorm over Sawgrass near Ponte Vedra Beach moving east. Again, lower northerly component involved as well, but 40 miles an hour to speed on that. So continuing to track things there. I know, again, things have been more active to Tallahassee County this year than Jacksonville County. That's highlighted more the severe thunderstorm warning. And we've had tornado possible tags, I would say, in some of those severe thunderstorm warnings that just, or weak rotation at least, and they just weren't upgraded here. But it's a situation here where we have been quite a bit calmer than back in 2024 through the first couple months. Granted, I mean, it's a situation here too where we have had busier years even in 2024 to this point. So, 2017, I mean, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I'm sure that was very pronounced with everything that happened around Albany and Adel to this, part of the year. I mean, they had so many warnings in January, so many tornadoes, but again, continuing to track things here, continuing to monitor, continuing to give you the latest. And that morning commute making things slick out there, all this moisture. Again, stuff doesn't look near as impressive as it did. We had the tornado warning, jumped in immediately. But now things look very weak. I'm not saying they couldn't redevelop, though. We need to just remain on guard, and this is west here of I-95. And maybe that same area trying to show back up a little. Yeah, it is. It's kind of trying to reemerge a little bit there. I mean, you know, sometimes the way the radar beam hits it makes it look worse than it is, or at one point and not as bad as it actually is at another, but you have a little bit of this. That's not enough for any type of warning, but it's worth watching there for tracking. To continue to give you the latest. Continuing to give you the latest updates. Always trying to stay on top of things here in the Weather Center. I'm hopeful we don't have to break back in here today for any of this, you know, action that remains. I mean, that means we wouldn't get more warnings. You know, it's definitely a possibility that you know, is the case. You just have to remain alert, though, for these rapidly changing conditions. In that case, our next update, you know, would be there late tomorrow, late Tuesday, and early Wednesday. But just got to keep watching things a little bit longer here right now as I track things. It's a one-man band. I'm referring to something real quick. I'm going to do this. It's not the, you know, maybe the best way to do this, you know, in a traditional sense, but with what I got available to sell right now, it would be the best way. It's going to be a risk coming up, but I do want to mention one more thing about this discussion of the ongoing threat here from the Storm Prediction Center. We sent this out a little while ago, right before we had that tornado warning issued. Actually, 20% chance of a watch in that blue circled area. Isolated strong to locally severe storms possible this morning. So that goes all the way down state. I mean, all the way down to about Cape Coral. So, you know, I know there's something to be watching here on the interactive radarclutter.com/radar. You can also, on the Twitter/X platform, you can also monitor NWS tornado for any other tornado warnings that might get issued here in the state and the like. So, just continuing to track things here. Of course, if we have anything in our area, we'll be on here, especially if it's a tornado warning. We'll be on at once like before with this one, but we have another advisory popping up now. Something's trying to gain strength toward the west a little bit. So let me go ahead and pour this on in. Strong thunderstorm impacting southeast Gilchrist and central Alachua counties through 8:45. 50-mile-an-hour winds a possibility for this area here around US 27. So Newberry, University of Florida, you know, for some of those early classes or study sessions there. Alachua, Gainesville, Archer, Water, Gainesville Airport, La Crosse. 50-mile-an-hour gust possibility. Peace-size hail as well. Strong thunderstorm near Archer, 10 miles north of Bronson, moving northeast at 60 miles an hour. No warning there, but you see that is, if it holds together, it could. And, you know, we saw some of these twitch directions on us yesterday night. I'm going to check this here. If that keeps holding together like that, it could try to get its way into Bradford County past 8:45 or so. So we'll kind of watch the trends, but let me go ahead and see what else I can show you guys. I want to switch sources here. I think I want to switch sources. This is going to be the Storm Prediction Center outlook coming up for Friday. It's Monday, I know, but we're talking about a very severe threat out toward the west here. Friday and Saturday, and you know, some of it starts to edge into our area Saturday into Sunday, but it would be lowering at that point, but still could be noteworthy. Not saying that it wouldn't be, but there's not a formal risk out for Sunday yet, but the bigger national storyline, which could be, one of the biggest of the year if it comes together. Sometimes, and lately some of these haven't come together as bad as they could have. Still big on the local levels out toward the west, but not as big on a national level. But here you go. This is straight from the Storm Prediction Center website. And you know what? I'll make this just a little bit bigger. We're just kind of doing this on the fly because I don't have it, set in a graphic or anything since we were just jumping on for our tornado warning here. I'm kind of taking a few extra minutes just in case something redevelops in our area here. That's why I haven't gone off to. But let me just say this. I zoomed in a little bit. It may not help a whole bunch, but it might help some. So we have a 30% severe weather risk already for Friday for Little Rock, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, getting up to like Cape Girardeau, Missouri, in the heartland there. So we really got to be paying attention. We got to be paying attention. Even 15% risk getting all the way in from Wisconsin to Texas. I'll say, a concerning risk this far out, and then as we get toward, that's day 5. This will be day 6. You can see a little risk in our western counties, but a much more substantial risk. Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville, Montgomery, getting into toward Mississippi. Talking about Jackson, Mississippi, and some of those other spots in between there. You have areas there like Meridian impacted. Looks like Hattiesburg will be in here as well. Starkville, Mississippi, right on the edge of this. So definitely something to be, taking note of as we're headed toward that weekend there and the like. So I know it's just Monday, but we already got a threat here that could be very substantial. And you can go to Storm Prediction Center website to read more on this. SBC.NOAA.gov for more, but a very substantial threat coming up. Could be, one of the outbreaks of the year if things keep showing the way they, are, if they keep looking the way they're showing right now. But could change. We hope they change for the better. But, if they stay pretty nasty looking, we could have a problem, and that could be one of the worst outbreaks, and not just this year, but multiple years toward the weekend out toward the west in the country. So, gotta be careful, folks. Have multiple ways to get alerts. Take those tornado precautions, but things can, ramp down or not really ramp up. We've seen that with some of the events lately where they end up being a big deal on the local levels out to the west, but not really becoming a huge national story because the damage is more wind damage or weaker tornado damage. But the threats I were just, I was just showing you guys there. That could be more about strong tornadoes, but not really talking about any strong tornadoes around today. We had a tornado warning in Putnam, though, a little while ago. I haven't seen any damage reports here. We didn't have a debris signature on that, that we could see. Obviously, if we had a really close there and there was something, it wouldn't take as strong of a tornado to get one. So, confident we didn't have a strong tornado. Did not have a strong tornado in Putnam County this morning, but there could have been something weaker if it was going under the radar beam. But according to Power.us, we don't have any customers in the dark there in that county. That's a good sign. That's what we like to hear, but we got to just continue to track things. Again, on I-75, watching this area here, could have some smaller hail in there and gusts to 50 miles an hour, and that is kind of headed in the general direction of Bradford County here over the next little bit. Nothing overwhelming here. We'll watch it. We'll track it. I mean, technically that would be headed into an environment potentially here. Yeah, it would have a little less instability, but it didn't drop off enough to, really weaken it probably, but that could play a role here on that fringe. So we're going to keep watching things here in the Weather Center for sure. And I'm just watching the overall pattern here with the meteorology and the like. I'm going to get a loop together of some of this. Better with me. Getting it together near the source. Because we're live this morning trying to keep you guys safe and informed. Another thing here that I'm noting, I know SEC men's basketball tournament in Nashville, Tennessee, and they're going to be under that severe risk on Saturday. So I know, not that it would have any stretch, but years ago, in Atlanta, they had a tornado actually hit during the basketball tournament. And that was, a story that was a huge deal. Ended up moving the rest of that tournament to Georgia Tech's campus there from what was the Georgia Dome there back then, where they were playing things. So just a huge, huge story back, now a good while ago, documentary and the like about that. So hopefully I don't have anything like that coming up. But there is that risk of over there in Nashville on Saturday and the SEC semifinals, and the SEC basketball tournament would be taking place, Saturday afternoon. So we'll see how that kind of sets up. But again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here. We're 69 degrees, by the way, right now here east of Stark. As we continue to track things, as we continue to give you the very latest. I know, just monitoring things the best they can here with the overall situation. Trying to keep you guys updated on the task at hand. Just looking at some of the different products here in the Weather Center. Real quick though, let me go ahead and pull up. I'll look at our camera, looking back toward the west. You still see these darker conditions. Wind's not too big of a factor right now. That one rogue area though of storminess in parts of western Alachua County be headed up this way here next little bit though, so we'll watch that. There's also now a flood advisory toward St. Johns County at 10:15 this morning. That's just popping in. There's a good bit of moisture there. You gotta watch that in those low-lying areas, especially for some concern as we continue to track things. I know, just really monitoring the situation. I think I have a loop up on my other mode now. This kind of shows you how everything's been transpiring. You saw those boxes pop up in Putnam. Now marine warning in the east, but that's the only alert we have in terms of a severe, type of alert that would go off on weather radio at least. So again, as we continue to track things, we still have some of the strong storminess. And I'm just looking at one of these areas in toward west central Florida. I want to just kind of, some of this stuff's heading more towards central Florida, but some of this, and I'll check in another mode here. We may have to watch for like Flagler or Marion. It'll be close. It may be more elusive because it may not head far enough north. I'm looking at something in Pasco to Sumter. Yeah, that may not quite head into Marion Flagler, but we shall see. Yeah, I'm going to say something here. I'm going to switch sources, but right in here, this is showing some signs of nasty weather north of Dade City, but these could shift direction a little based on just the overall setup. But that's around Dade City, and that's kind of headed. I'll go more northerly with it. If it goes more northerly, it may clip southeast Marion and maybe in towards southeast Flagler here later on. But if not, it may not. It's close. I'll track it on the velocity here. You kind of watch it there. That type of track. And I know kind of move it sometimes. That takes it more toward Daytona Beach here a little bit later on this morning. So something to watch for there. We do have a few advisories toward the north, but no warnings per se in terms of severe thunderstorm now or tornado like we did earlier on. Let's see how that one area is looking. I don't really even see it. We had a tornado warning on earlier. It didn't look too impressive. This is the most impressive probably of them all. And it's not, far there from I-75 with some of the worst of this. But part of I-75 is getting the heavy rainfall as we speak. University of Florida, some of that area getting into some of this as well. they'll probably get, as I look in here, you see some of the topography of the region, obviously. Trying to give you that look at things, and then there's the university where the stadium is. Some of this worse might go, and be, England there right around and north of that. So as we continue to watch, I don't particularly love a little hook on that storm. It could start to ramp up. I don't see anything too crazy with it right now, though. But it's worth monitoring because it is headed up toward Bradford County. So, with that area there, and boy, I think we're going to keep the stream going a little longer. I'm not going to keep talking because we don't have any reason to, anything too crazy. But, instead of just wrapping it up, I'm going to keep it going. I'm not saying I'll actually come back on here on the stream to talk. That's only if and as conditions warrant. But I will leave the radar running for a little while just to kind of monitor the progress of that storm there in western Alachua. There's a little lightning with it, so it would be considered a storm. And watch that as it gets toward Bradford in case something starts to ramp up. We could jump back in immediately. So, that's kind of the plan there. But if we don't have anything ramp up in our area, we won't come back in, here, and that'd be something that we would like to see. Not anything else ramp up, but strong thunderstorm, by the way, Flagler County, potential there through 9 a.m. advisory now in play. Significant weather advisory. So we're going to keep watching this. I'll leave this up. If we need to pop back in, we will. Those red, that red and that yellow box, those are off the board now. But there's, at least something like a yellow box for us. If a thunderstorm warning could pop back up. So we need to remain alert for rapidly changing conditions. But for now, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. We're going to keep the stream going for the time being. If we need to pop back in, we will. If we don't, well, just stay safe out there and, enjoy the day the best you can. Still chances for storms could reemerge later on today, though they wouldn't be maybe, as substantial as what we're seeing right now towards some of our areas. But rain chance wouldn't completely be gone as we're looking ahead later on in toward the period for some of us. But, this is some of the worst of the action that we've been monitoring here. It's what we're monitoring right now. So that's the loop. That's the latest. Let me see if there are any questions or comments here. I know one of our viewers talking about that storm near Dade City has rotation. Yeah, I was mentioning that here a little while ago. Definitely paying attention to that. And then another viewer saying thanks for the data. That storm near Dade City. Yeah, I'll bring it back up one more time for folks that are maybe just tuning in here. Folks coming in and out. Yeah, definitely tightening up on that. They do have an advisory to the Tampa office on that. That's not necessarily, directly, immediately heading into our area, but it could be cause for concern here as we look ahead, for some of Central Florida. It's in a pretty favorable environment, so it's definitely strengthening there northeast of Dade City. Sumter County there is where we're talking about it more than anything. Technically Hernando Pasco in the advisory as well, but let me just kind of, you can definitely see that strengthening. That latest frame has it going a little bit more easterly, but maybe something like this. I'm just trying to see if it would come back into our area. It'll be close, but it may be more Volusia, but it could also, there's a small chance based on, trends, in a short period, where it could trend back north a little and get more towards southeastern Marion and southern Flagler. So we're going to have to pay attention to it because I feel like this may get some type of warning. Maybe it's a thunderstorm warning, maybe it's a tornado warning even. Not out of the question there down toward the south. So again, continuing to watch all of that. I'm going to put this loop back on under the latest Storm Prediction Center outlook information out, and there's a marginal risk here in play. In that dark green, they've expanded that northward now, to encompass some of the stacks in here and to account for some of our southern counties as a lingering risk. So that's that dark green. We technically don't have that in Bradford. It's a situation that might not end up needing a warning, but There could be some small hail in that, some gusty winds coming up toward Stark over the next little bit. So we'll be watching for that. As the speed is northeast at 60 miles an hour, that's a quick mover. Very quick mover. That area of storminess. So we're talking about within the next half hour, even maybe getting towards Stark, potentially at least. As I kind of look at things and track things here. Not a guarantee, these directions. It could, be more a little bit further down southern Bradford County, but as I switch modes here, you can kind of see watching things that has the latest track as that kind of go on in the southern part of Bradford, but we don't have anything too crazy on velocity or hail signature, but probably going to get another advisory for Bradford. Maybe that'll be the extent of it, but it is a little bit cooler up here. So it may be harder, a little bit harder. Not a lot harder, but a little harder for some of the potential to get down to the surface. There's no hail risk now, though, officially. But not saying we couldn't get some of that, though, in play. So we're watching things here for you. As you look at that looping radar. Gonna leave that on up on all the different platforms. Gonna leave that up on all the different platforms here. Facebook, Twitter /X, YouTube, Twitch. So I'll leave it up for the time being. Eventually I may cut that, and then you'll have the interactive radar available there. cloudweather.com/radar. So that's something to keep in mind as well. For now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. I'm going to turn the audio off and leave this running. Stay safe.
This is a clouds weather alert.
Meteorologist Casey Cloud popping in here right now at 9:23 on this Monday morning. I know earlier on this morning we started a stream because we had a tornado warning for Putnam County. That has since expired. You know, it's expired at this point a while ago. Then we had some tornado warnings towards Central Florida, but those were out of our viewing area. Unlike Putnam County, which is in our covered area. But now we have a thunderstorm warning for parts of Duval County until 9:45 this morning. It's actually an area we were watching here in Bradford County earlier on, and it's a storm here that has shown just enough in terms of that potential to prompt a severe thunderstorm warning now for areas into Duval County. I know in Bradford County here, you know, I was watching it for hail potential, but it wasn't quite severe looking hail. It may not be here either, may not quite be severe enough winds either, but it does have a warning now, and it's not out of the question. Pretty highly populated area here this morning, so definitely something to watch, something to track as we're monitoring the situation. Let me go ahead and see a look here in Duval County. I'm going to pull up a traffic camera viewpoint here of the overall situation. We'll go ahead and pull that in here on the traffic source. And there you go. You can see I-95 north of Bay Meadows here. Definitely some inclement conditions. You see a school bus there and the like. Not a fun start here on this Monday. So just kind of giving you guys an idea of what we're tracking there on one of those Florida 511 perspective. You know, where we were at with the tornado warning in Putnam County earlier on. We didn't have any traffic camera images available. A different story with Duval County here. But again, just watching now, you see the rain coming on down. It's a slow go at times, but going back over to the looping radar right now. I know I'm monitoring the situation very carefully here as things do evolve. And let me go ahead and jump on over right now to our other mode. Again, before I do, you see the red box of Central Florida. Those had been in play. Those are gone now, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in Duval County. Maybe, you know, some wind enhancement headed right toward I-95, but nothing too overwhelming. But it is a warning, a severe thunderstorm warning in a highly populated area. So at 9:21, a severe thunderstorm is located near Bay Meadows or near Mandarin, moving northeast at 65 miles an hour, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, quarter-size hail possible. Atlantic Beach, NAS Jacksonville Beach, Bay Meadows, Mayport, Neptune Beach, Craigfield, San Pablo, Mandarin, and the University of North Florida. So I'm watching things there carefully. I know we're always watching things here in toward the 62 counties. And then I know as we look at things, I know we've been watching things, you know, not enough to come on for because they're not in our area, but not bad enough to come on for since it wasn't in our area. But we had some tornado warnings in Central Florida after we had that tornado warning in our area earlier on. I'll loop that around now on this source here real quick. Now let me go ahead and start from a little bit earlier on. You can see a few red boxes there in play, but luckily that rotation's weakened enough now that moves toward I-4. That's not a threat at this point. The radar cover didn't great out there, but could have had something, you know, looking at the terminal radar, maybe in terms of the rotation being tight enough somewhere around Claremont or Groveland. I think we would have maybe heard about that by now. I mean, it's possible, you know, that's coming through some sources, but I haven't heard anything yet about any issues there, excuse me. But I'm looking at power outages in the state, and Volusia County over 6,000 customers in the dark there. Citrus County a little over 1,000, but in our area it's 146. The storyline in Baker County, 8 in Duval County, 4 in St. Johns County, 78 in Alachua County. I'm gonna go up to the north now, switch radar views. Back to the reason we jumped back into the stream. We had a tornado covered earlier on. Now a severe thunderstorm warning within our 62 counties for parts of Duval County until 9:45 again. This isn't all that impressive. We weren't already on with the stream. I might just honestly post this warning because it doesn't look that much more intense than what we had in Bradford County with this. And I know where we're at specifically, we didn't get much from this area, but other areas might have got a little bit of small hail. It looked like a possibility, but I don't think it's quite as severe criteria unless, you know, maybe a rogue area had it somewhere in there. But again, we were already on with the tornado warning headed stream going, so severe thunderstorm warning, highly popular area would break in, is what my thought process was. But flood advisory in play at 11:30 now for portions of Duval County. So definitely got to watch out for some punting the water on the roadways here. Quick half inch, give or take. Having fallen in some of these areas here, in very short order. These purples are either indicative of heavy downpours and or some hail. And, I would lean toward it probably being some of both, quite honestly, here. So right now around US 1A there and a US 90 was some of the worst of this. Let me see if I can get a traffic camera where those intersect as possible here. I'll see if I can get a traffic camera in that vicinity. That might be helpful. Warning continuing for 60-mile-an-hour winds and that quarter size hail potential. And I'm just going to keep checking here some of the different sources. Just trying to get my bearings here because I have to look at this live on the air. So again, right there, that's US 90 and US 1A. So just trying to kind of, figure out exactly where we're at here with this geographically. Just trying to keep you up to date here this morning. I'll at least try to get a camera in the vicinity. US 90 and Beach Boulevard. Let's go ahead and pull that up. It's just me here having to do this while I'm talking, but we'll try to pull this camera up. Definitely doesn't look fun there. I-295 east at Beach Boulevard. Slow go. Maybe some small hail mixing in as possible. Definitely not fun looking there. Folks haven't had their lights on, obviously, with the rainfall and maybe a little hail in there. Let's go back to the radar view now. Again, just trying to give you the very latest. I know this is, what I'm looking at on my source here around Sandalwood, kind of. Check another camera, going a little north, and let's kind of see this view here. Definitely some gloomy, conditions, kind of almost as you look here on this view, kind of that self-cloud type look. So some very nasty weather there in Duval County this morning. This is just kind of a visual outside of the worst of it so far, a little bit further up to the north. So telling that other story, obviously, on that Florida 511 camera perspective. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in play for parts of Duval County till 9:45 here this morning. Again, nothing really impressive with this, but there's enough potential in a more popular area that they wanted to issue this warning here to the office in Jacksonville. Other than that, we were watching some action in Flagler County. It's pretty far from the radar, not seeing a whole bunch with it. I know we've kind of seen, especially with the tornado warnings popping up, the one in our area and more so even in Central Florida, more of the overall parameters really coming together here as we've gotten, around sunrise and later on just in the overall pattern. So that's been obviously some cause for concern as we're looking at things. I know there's a good bit of instability toward the south here. We didn't really have that last night. We have that now, though I will say a lot of that, is going to be more of a concern, linger more for areas just outside of the region, for the most part. And that one warning in Duval, it looks like about all we're really seeing of, major concern here. I say major, moderate concern here at this point. I wouldn't even call it major. I see a new severe thunderstorm warning just popping up in Central Florida, all that instability down there, and then all these, supercell composite values there, up toward parts of our area as well. But when there's more instability in play, more potential with things. That's your tornado parameter there. But again, just continue to track all this here. Try to give you guys the very latest, obviously, on what's going on. The radar cover didn't great in there. But I think we are starting to get some more rotation in Central Florida, which quite honestly may be the bigger story, even though it's not even in our area. It's just the idea that what we're tracking around here doesn't look really intense. In Duval County, west of I-4 now, we're starting to see a, reorganization of the rotation, I think, in a pretty favorable environment. Now, let's see, that looks like I'd probably say south of area, in more Volusia, maybe eventually getting off the coast around New Smyrna Beach to Oak Hill, somewhere there, that vicinity. But this here, I'm sure, yeah, it does have a tornado possible tag here. And quite honestly, that terminal Doppler, let me pull this in. That tells me we may get a tornado warning. I may need a tornado warning there, right around. It looks like I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I know there's Wekiva Springs. That's not how that's spelled, is it? I don't think so. But again, watching things. They're just east of Apopka. That's a very tight rotation. That's right near it, to only 1,000 feet up on a terminal Doppler. And sometimes they have limitations, but this is about, they need to issue a tornado warning on that. Goodness gracious. Yeah, there we go. Almost 5,000 feet up. There's not a tornado warning in Central Florida again. I know that's almost 5,000 feet up, but that's a developing tornado, I think, just the way, it goes higher up now, but right near the radar site, you can see that tornadic activity. I know we have our warning up here, Duval, is why I broke back into the stream, but this is more interesting looking at the moment, and generally not breaking in for stuff outside of area unless it's too crazy. But let's just talk about this a little bit because, I have a feeling this may be trying to produce right now there. We're talking about near Altamont Springs, Lake Mary, Longwood, the Altona, Orange City. Again, that looks like something really trying to come together there. Now, you don't have debris tracker on this radar because terminal radars don't have it. And you'd have to take a pretty strong tornado to show up on Melbourne's radar. But I know this is weakened for a while, but we may end up getting a debris signature in the Melbourne radar if it gets tight enough. This is a pretty significant looking signature. I mean, by the time you see a debris signature on it, it means it's already touched down. Heathrow to Lake Mary. This could be headed in that direction. Very highly populated area. I know that's where at least one of the TV stations is down there in Lake Mary in Central Florida. So they need to be, really, really watching this as I know they are. But as we're tracking this, I know that's WOFL TV there, the Fox affiliates in Lake Mary. So definitely some tight rotation there with that. We'll get back up to the reason we popped back into this stream this morning in Duval County. There's, not much there. I don't think there'd be wind damage with this. If we have anything to be hail, that is approaching it, I don't know if it would quite even be with that, maybe not even meeting that. Maybe, some hail just under that, level there possible around and just near north of Atlantic Beach there right now. That warning will be going away here soon, but a tornado warning in Central Florida. We've seen them in some pretty popular areas, like Claremont. This is even, an area here closer to the interstate. And we need to pull traffic cameras up. That may be they're developing a type of debris signature. This is south of Heathrow and southwest of Lake Mary. So let's get traffic cameras on here. I have a bad feeling about that signature way. When we have them developed and they kind of go away, then they pop back up. This could be a problem here, folks, for, the Lake Mary area in Central Florida. That looked kind of like the beginnings of a debris signature, and for it to be that far up, that's bad. That's really bad. If that's the case here, let's see if we can get a camera in that direction. We have one pointed southwest, but I don't know if it's going to be pointed at the sky. Goodness, there's a school bus on the road in that area there. I don't like seeing that. Let me go ahead and see if we can pull that on in here, folks. Traffic really backing up. You have to look right. It's almost out of the frame. The school bus right near the 4, I think, on that shop. But I know we have our local warning, but I'm really concerned about this warning in Central Florida now. You know, it's not a guarantee, but we may have a tornado headed right toward Lake Mary there. You know, that's a 5,000 feet to see a little bit of something on debris tracker. That's what worries me. I have a feeling we have a tornado down right there near the south of Heathrow, moving up toward Lake Mary. And just continuing to track things. I'm going to check effort and traffic camera side, see if I can get anything more clear with this. I mean, we may just have to kind of stay on one of these and, I mean, you know, just hope nothing happens. A lot of folks stuck on the roads right now in that area. That is not good. This is going to cross I-4 here, folks. And that's a problem. That is a problem. I'm just trying to get an idea here. That intersection. We'll just go back to the one shot, I guess. Because it's, you know, not the most clearest type of look. We're not looking right up toward the sky there, but there's a lot of folks stopping on this road now. It really worries me. If there's something down, we could have, you know, cars that get flipped here, folks. This is dangerous. You know, hopefully this is just, you know, more bark than bite, but I'm not so sure now. This is Central Florida out of our area, but I really do not like seeing folks stopped on the interstate like this. You know, just because if there were to be a tornado across, it's going to probably flip some vehicles and cause some injuries here. That, even if it's a weaker tornado, you know, it could do that. So that's a cause for a big concern here. That's a cause for a big concern. I think I'm looking here, and I don't generally do this, but I know right idea where the TV station is. I think they have debris on the broadcast. Oh my goodness, I think they have a tornado right near Fox 35 in Orlando right now. We don't have access to their camera, but their meteorologists are saying to tell everybody to get under the desk here. There's a lot of debris on their camera at the station. They're in the debris zone there. I don't generally, you know, but a tornado right maybe near and over Fox 35. There would be OFL in Orlando right now. There's dramatic images of the tornado on there. I don't have access to their station camera, but right over to Lake Mary Station, a tornado maybe hitting Fox 35 there. I think the stream just went down. Okay, so again, this is very bad news as we're looking at things. But again, oh my goodness, oh gosh. Look at that debris signature, folks, at 5,000 feet. Large tornado probably around Lake Mary in Central Florida. This is a particularly, I'm just calling it as I see it. I don't see an update to the statement, but this is a particularly dangerous situation. I mean, this is a tornado probably winds 110, 120, 130 miles an hour right there in Central Florida. This is very serious. Very, very serious there in Central Florida. Again, a tornado may have just hit the TV station there at Fox 35. Again, very serious situation. I'm going to effort some more information here. Hope everybody's all right along the interstate. I suspect we're going to have cars flipped and the like here. Let me see if we can get some more images on the traffic camera. Again, this is very serious stuff here, folks. And I don't have access to their cameras, obviously. I mean, I can't show them on there. But if you would have seen what I just saw in there, there was debris just flying there. And I believe it was right at the TV station there. But whatever camera it was scary. And one of the scariest things I've ever seen here in Florida or any TV station. Again, we're up in Stark. We're safe here. But just looking at that broadcast, that was not good. And you see the backup on the interstate, and I may see a tornado somewhere in this shot. It's hard to determine. I'm going to keep effort and such that we can show in the traffic cameras. Okay, you see that confirm box. We knew it was on the ground. They're calling this obviously a confirmed tornado over Lake Mary. We knew that was on the ground to get a debris signature like that. Let's see how high this goes. This is right there near Lake Mary in Central Florida. Again, a very serious situation. I didn't have, look at that. That is something that, and again, I haven't showed everything that I have at my disposal here because we're not authorized to show you that. But that's some of the most frightening video I've ever seen in live tornado coverage. There was debris flying there on the TV station coverage in Orlando at Fox 35 WOFL there. Again, a very serious situation in Orlando. Very serious stuff. Apparently, so. Okay, so a little bit of, I would say, maybe a little bit better news there. One of their anchors just tweeting out that they could hear the debris hit the building and see it flying by the camera. So I hope everybody's safe in the station. But, this is a big deal, obviously. The other structures might not be so lucky. People in the road might not be so lucky. So, again, a nasty situation here as we're tracking things this morning in Central Florida. I know we started this stream here for a tornado warning in our area, but this Central Florida, a very significant tornado around Lake Mary there, and we're talking about right around County Road 4220 there in Central Florida. I'm trying to see here. I know it's not right in the heart of Orlando, so there might not be as many traffic cameras available to us here, but again, a very scary situation. I'm gonna look at some more traffic cameras. This is a little bit south, but you may be showing something. If this is pointed north here, it's hard to tell, but we're going to pull it up in that right side of the shot. It's a little darker, so hopefully, it's not the tornado, and there's not one actively down. Maybe that, is weakening, the signature, and then that debris that we're seeing will be something that is from a few moments ago, and we'll see the situation weaken. But right now, you can't take any chances. You can't take any chances whatsoever here. Again, we had a tornado just hit there towards Central Florida. Again, I'm not there by any stretch, not associated with that TV station, but that was something I didn't show it obviously on our broadcast, but looking at off camera, that was very frightening to see a tornado there right toward that TV station, Fox 35 in Orlando. So, again, a very serious situation as we're looking at things. Again, Seminole County area, not good stuff. So, again, that area, that's obviously a debris signature here around Lake Mary and towards Central Florida. A very serious situation. That does look to be weakening on that mode. Let me go ahead and go back on over here. Yeah, that's weakening some too. I know that's going to be, a video they're showing for a long time in Central Florida, what they had, again, on their camera at the station there, with debris literally flying outside of it and hitting the roof. And now a possible, tornado. It was a confirmed tornado, could still be a confirmed tornado in there. It's just, something that looks quite as tight, but it could have, it's still down as it heads towards Sanford there, in towards Central Florida. So watching that. We're also, watching stuff down towards Southwest Florida there on Sarasota County, around Sarasota County, and Manatee County and the like there. From rotation, severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Our severe thunderstorm warning in Duval County has been taken off the board now. It's 9:48 past that benchmark, so that's good news. But that storm in Central Florida, again, frightening a lot of folks here. Frightening a lot of folks for sure. That does look weaker. That debris signature seems to start to fade there on that latest scan, but I mean, we had something right around I-4. I hope there's no cars flipped. Let me see if there's, anything, or, it could be other type of vehicle sadly flipped as well. I don't know that. I'm just guessing based on that debris signature. We were looking on the interstate, all that traffic backing up. It was not good. I mean, to have that traffic backing up like that. And, just a really serious situation. Again, I'm efforting some images on the Florida 511. I'll go ahead and say here some of this backup as we're looking a little further up and we're looking back to the south and the west. You see all that traffic just backing on up there on I-4 in Central Florida right now. Again, a nasty situation by all, levels here. Again, there was a tornado on the ground there in the Lake Mary area. It's pretty significant looking on some of the traffic camera, looks at, or at least camera looks at the station had there. One of the anchors remarking that they heard some of the debris hitting the TV station there. And you could see, it was readily, clear what was happening. Very clear what was happening on the live coverage, not even listening to the sound or anything. Again, still with you here. Trying to keep you safe and informed. Trying to keep you up to date. It looks like some of the stuff I'm trying to go to isn't working right now. I'm trying to effort some information behind the scenes. I think our stream's still going though, but having some issues with some of the other sources here at the moment. That does look a lot weaker, but this is right near the Orlando Sanford Airport. Again, a serious situation in Central Florida. If you weren't with me, there was a tornado hitting Lake Mary just a few moments ago. A very clear tornado. I mean, you don't even need, to look at the video. I couldn't show it because we're not authorized to, obviously. But TV station had it, but this debris signature showed it very clearly around 9:41 a.m. On I-4 there. It would seem you started touching down probably just west of there. But the thing about this is, too, this is at 5,000 feet here, so it's probably already down a little bit further back toward the west here. Yeah, and they just sent out the local storm report. The tornado was spotted, obviously, at Fox 35 Studios with debris reported at 41 past the hour. But again, continuing to track all of this here in toward the Weather Center. I'm just looking here at some of our products. I wanted to try to see here. I'm going way up in our debris tracker. We're having some issues here with some of our sources. Not wanting to load for whatever reason right now, but again, trying to scrub through some of this. This is a little bit higher up and trying to, okay, that is not letting me load. But anyway, this is 5,000 feet. For whatever reason, not letting me load higher up, but obviously had a tornado there around Lake Mary, Central Florida. I'm sure there's a lot of damage in that vicinity. You know, not a good situation, but for whatever reason, I'm having a lot of issues getting information in here now on our sources. They are not, you know, I'm honestly surprised our stream is still going because, just it's unrelated to anything, with the weather. Obviously, we're up in Stark in North Central Florida. That's where I'm at, but trying to get information from Twitter and it's not, going too well here right now. So anyhow, let me go ahead and see, there's another tornado warning now in Florida toward Sarasota County. This just popped up here last few seconds. A possible tornado moving toward the Venice area there. We have some greens, winds going toward the radar and Tampa Ridge away. So possible tornado there. Northport, Mayaca River State Park, areas that have to be mindful of this here over the next little bit. But back to the area that's caused, so much concern. By far the biggest weather storm that we're going to see in probably the country all day long here. Just happened toward, Lake Mary, a tornado, apparently hitting the Fox 35 TV station there. I mean, looks like, they're okay, but honestly having a lot of trouble getting any information now from some of our sources. Okay, so we're still here in the Weather Center, just looking at some things. We're going to back this up. This is the lowest level of debris tracker, and it's still at 5,000 feet, which shows you just how strong this was. I mean, with that type of signature, that type of wind signature, it was, clearly a tornado that had at least winds of 100 miles an hour there, but probably, even stronger than that. Let's pull up the EF scale. I mean, this was at least an EF1, but probably based on that type of debris signature, an EF2 type tornado. But I haven't seen the damage yet, other than the live coverage they were, broadcasting out of the station in Orlando area there, Lake Mary to be precise, where they had the debris on their camera right outside, and they could actually hear it hitting their station. So, again, continuing to watch, continuing to track here. That was the view at 9:41. A lot better looking view right now. But just continuing to track a tornado warning effect there. Tornado warning in Sarasota County. None in our area now. We had that one in Putnam County earlier on. I haven't seen any reports of damage from that one at least. So that's good news. That's good news here. We're just continuing to effort the latest. Obviously nasty weather conditions. Again, we're still with you here, checking things out. That looks like it may be turning a little bit stronger again in Central Florida. The reason why we're talking about Central Florida stuff is we had just a very significant tornado there on Lake Mary over the last little bit. Very significant debris signature. And now a new tornado warning popping up as we're looking further off toward the north and east now from this Seminole and Volusia counties now. We're watching this for us, looking out of our area because of how significant that was around Lake Mary. But this is a radar indicated tornado now as of, the latest updates. And as of 9:55, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located over Osteen or near Deltona, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Deltona, Osteen around 10 o'clock. New Smyrna Beach around 10:10. And then Port Orange and Edgewater around 10:30 here this morning. That's what the track, says here in terms of the different times. As we're looking at New Smyrna Beach Airport, Lake Aspy, and Farmington there, as we're monitoring things in toward that area and hoping this doesn't ramp up to what it was around Lake Mary. Again, as we look here, as we track things, there's your red box. At least this is staying in the south of our viewing circle with this one. That's the good news as I keep switching between different radars. Again, continuing to give you guys the very latest here the best we can. Again, a nasty situation there. For sure. We're going to keep looking at things east of I-4 right now, but right there near State Road 415. Eventually seeing if this ramps up toward I-95. Once again, right near I-4 really ramped up. Around Venice there, we also have a circulation, a water spout trying to, be in play. And if that circulation, comes on in there toward Venice, could end up being a tornado into toward that community. If you have that over land, obviously that would indicate a tornado. So again, a serious situation here this morning. A 2% tornado risk, really, all of a sudden, with that one around Lake Mary getting this act together and being very significant. Very significant, obviously. I know they weren't even under earlier on today for this time frame for tornado risk, but they did get added before this happened for that area. 2% risk there. All these have been so, mundane here in terms of any, signatures, and all of a sudden just very highly populated area. Get a debris signature like this one around 9:40 or so. Right there around I-4 at the Fox 35 television studios there in Central Florida. So what a storyline. Not a good one. As we're continuing to check things here, trying to effort information. Let me see how many power outages we might have there from this, because I can give you an idea of the scope of this. At least give you some semblance of it. What happened down there. Looking at my information, Seminole County, there are some outages. I think the number I'm seeing is close to 1,000, maybe a little bit low, but we'll continue to see how this kind of transpired there as you saw that signature went across. I'm still watching a weaker signature now on Osteen, Florida, getting into Volusia County. Again, continuing to track things here. I mean, what a bad debris signature that was earlier on, though. I'm going to try to pull some more information on in here. By the way, here's another look at this on our other source. Again, here looking east of Deltona, we have some of this is not, near as impressive as it was earlier, but that's some, you know, bright color racing right in there, indicative of pretty strong winds. I'm going to loop this back on the terminal radar to see how this is looking, and actually I need to change the settings on this real quick. See if I can get a little bit further back here. Yeah, okay, I guess that's as far back as I can go on that because the frames come in so quick. Let me see if I can get a little bit further back on the Melbourne radar because they don't come in quite as frequently there. Again, continuing to track what has happened there. Let me check another thing here. We're just checking on this. So right around Lake Mary. Yeah, that area there. Well, that's not exactly. I know some of these areas, I'm trying to see if we actually have like a debris ball. One of the frames, maybe. There might have been something in there like that. I mean, obviously a debris signature, though. That was very well defined, you know, in that area there. 9:40 this morning, a very obvious confirmed tornado there in towards Seminole County. And now radar indicated tornado warning there toward Volusia County, toward Seminole County, and then there's another one toward Sarasota County. Again, continue to track everything here for you. Even to the tornado warning toward the south there, around the Venice area in southwest Florida. Some indications of rotation there. The Seminole and Volusia. You can see this is, we had the rotation tighten up, and then we had a tornado there. I know it was spotted there at the TV station in that area. OSR showing that at this point. In fact, let me do something I don't generally do here. And I'm going to actually, just for a moment, we'll share the other radar screen per se. It's the screen that I see. So you guys, I would actually see the description from the National Weather Service there. So let's do that. Okay, that's radar scope. I may need to go to our other source here to do this. I don't generally do it. Okay, this is another look at this, and what I want to do, I just wanted to show you, you can actually see here, tornado spotted at the Fox 35 studios with debris reported in the official storm report. So just thought I would kind of show you guys that real quick. You know, that was very dramatic type of situation, obviously there. Again, continuing to watch everything, continuing to give you guys the very latest here on what's going on. So you still see some rotation there on Osteen. This has a history, obviously, of producing a significant tornado. You know, I said at least EF1. I just haven't seen the damage. I can't, except for the debris as it was happening. I haven't seen any images of the damage yet. I don't want to go higher than that without seeing them. There's an issue, at least on my end, with Twitter/X right now. I'm not able to see any of that. But I know tornado warning just got canceled on Sarasota County. I suspect it was, you know, a strong tornado EF2 type of situation there in Seminole County this morning. That rotation is showing up a little stronger on there. It's not quite as dramatic on this mode right now on that view. Let me check the terminal radar. Granted, it's kind of moving away from that some. You see some rotation, not as much as what we had earlier on with it, obviously, but I'll show you the look at things. As this kind of goes back in time, you'll be able to see, I mean, the terminal radar is a circulation there. Let me take off some of these tracks. You can see how it got its act together, right? In a very highly populated area there of Central Florida this morning. Again, a tornado coming together on 9:40 this morning in towards Central Florida, in toward the Lake Mary area. You can see those reds There's greens. The terminal radar is down here. So we had reds, winds going away, greens, winds going toward with that circulation. So some of it now, but it was tighter back in here. So I'll see if I can go up a little bit higher with some of this. We've had some issues with some of these loading here this morning, but okay, yeah, that's a little higher up. I was trying to get rid of some of that purple, but this is going to have to do here, I guess, for now. As we continue to watch this. "10:09 is the time now on this Monday morning. What a rough start there in Central Florida. It's March 10th, 2025. I know our area we've had nasty weather, but nothing like what they had around Lake Mary, obviously, this morning. That's probably going to be, and again, still trying to figure out exactly how much damage was done here. But, you know, it'll probably be one of the Florida weather stories of the year, 2025. What happened there this morning to have it. I mean, we couldn't show it because it was their cameras, but, you know, one of the cameras at the TV station, Fox 35 WFL in Orlando, was showing a tornado in progress with debris hitting at their TV station. So they're all right, though, it looks like, because they're on broadcast and their stream went out for a moment earlier, it looked like. But they're on broadcasting right now, but not great hearing about what happened there, obviously. Again, continuing to give you guys the latest. Got a question about Sarasota now. Yeah, that's that warning there, Sarasota County for the tornado. That's been canceled. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of that county. Now, Sarasota proper, you're good right now, though. But Sarasota County, parts of the county, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in play. And there still is a tornado possible today. There's just some weak rotation, but not as tight as it was. So that's around Venice there, folks. Not, you know, Sarasota proper, as we're looking at things. So Sarasota County, though, you know, parts of I-75 into this morning, but Sarasota proper right now is okay as we're looking at things. I know, you know, since we've been so busy with that stuff in Central Florida, let's give you a wider perspective, because that accident in Duval County is kicked off the coast for the most part. You know, most of everything in our area looks pretty, you know, weak in the areas that there's even rain now, so that's a great sign. Took it up some moisture back further off toward the north and the west, though. As we, you know, look ahead here, that's something, you know, and just the overall pattern that we're watching. I'll kind of bat it up and go forward. You see a spin there. We have a little pressure, and could still get some moisture coming in later. It won't be as significant after, you know, what we had, but still continuing to watch. Trying to get this off the coast. So we crossing I-95, already crossed I-4. You know, we had a significant situation there. Now trying to cross I-95 here next little bit. Hopefully it won't be on the ground, you know, as it does so after what we had around Lake Mary. Again, continuing to track things. We'll go to rotation on storm relative. Again, continuing to watch things there. I know our local stuff is pretty much wound down, but the reason we're sticking on this so long is because of what happened there on Lake Mary in Seminole County a little while ago. A significant tornado coming on through there. Very significant debris signature with this storm. This is there now, southeast of Osteen, though, with the winds going away from the Melbourne radar, and then winds going toward the Melbourne radar. We're going to keep watching to see if, you know, something gets a little bit stronger to the coast. It very well could, because, you know, sometimes when you get closer to the coast, you have more of the parameters coming into play. And we'll back this up, though, if you weren't watching here earlier on, around 9:40 this morning, we had a very nasty debris signature. This was at 5,000 feet. That shows you, just how high the debris was going there around the I-4 area there in Central Florida. Again, very, very serious stuff there, the way that developed. We were on for the severe thunderstorm warning in Duval, and then that, just took a turn for the worse there in Central Florida. So far, no reports of injuries there, but it's very, very early and don't have access to a lot of the information down there. So we'll just continue, hope everybody's all right after what happened down there, but in that vicinity, along I-4 and the like. But again, looking at things, our tornado parameters are 1, instability's there as well, and we didn't have all this coming together last night, and we had it come together this morning there in Central Florida. And I know this doesn't do it justice, but of how significant this was there. Again, a tornado was actually spotted at Fox 35 TV station there with debris reported at 9:41. That stuff just doesn't happen here in Florida very much, if at all. Very, very rare to see that. I'm trying to think of instances where TV stations in Florida have had tornadoes at their building, and I can't think of any here. Right, right off the top. But again, just continuing to track things here, continuing to monitor for our neighbors in south. Again, we're looking at things outside of our area because of what happened, and what that threat was. But you see some of that rotation there in Osteen. This warning goes for another half an hour there. Another half an hour there toward Volusia County. It's not Daytona Beach, the more popular area, but still there is from New Smyrna Beach to about Oak Hill. They need to be watching this here carefully. They need to be watching this very carefully. This is around I-95 there, with the history of what happened. Very concerning, but I will back this up and say that the structure was more well defined further back toward the west here with this. But you still got to be mindful of the scenario here. So what I think I'm going to do right now, since I don't have anything confirmed at the moment, unlike what had happened earlier on, I think I'm just going to leave the stream going for a little longer, try to get this off the coast here, and then depending on how things are going in other parts of the state, maybe wrap it up. But I want to keep this going until it gets off the coast so I can pop back in if and as necessary. So again, really serious set of circumstances there toward the south this morning. I'm getting our looping mode here, our looping mode ready. But let me remind you guys of the tornado precautions that you need to take in these type of situations. And there's a tornado warning in play. You need to seek shelter inside a sturdy building. Get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You need to protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet, football helmet, baseball helmet, something like that. And if you don't have your shoes on, you want to make sure you put your shoes on in a situation like this as well, so you don't cut your feet up. So important thing to keep in mind is no tornado watch, but tornado warning obviously there in Volusia County, just south of our covered area, but we've been sticking with it for the last little bit because of what happened. We, saw it developing with the signature live. I had a bad feeling about how the velocity was ticking up so quick as we were watching our storm in Jacksonville. It was a thunderstorm warning. We had the tornado warning there towards Seminole County. It was ticking up so much that we just started talking about it, and then we had a very significant tornado hit there in the Lake Mary area, apparently, over the last little bit. So even spotted, I know, by the television station there, Fox 35, they could actually see it, right at their station with the debris hitting. So again, the station's on the air there, so at least that's good news. But in terms of things, but what a mess. What a mess here this morning as we're tracking things. I know, really nasty stuff. So if we need to break back in, we will, obviously. I know there's a nasty, debris signature there earlier on. It was a purple box because it was a confirmed tornado. The tornado icons, the indication of the report of the tornado there at that TV station. Again, we're going to keep tracking this here. I'm going to keep tracking this here with the live streaming radar. There's now new tornado warnings. Let me see here what this is. about in Volusia County. Okay, they're kind of tracking another area, it looks like now. They're starting to take off a little bit more. Well, let's see what this is about then. Okay, it's that area to the south. I was headed more toward the aerial community, and maybe more toward Oak Hill. That's tightened up. They issued a new tornado warning for southeastern Volusia County now to the Weather Service in Melbourne, Maytown, Oak Hill, Apollo Beach. And then further up here, I know we have the tornado warning for New Smyrna Beach, Edgewater, Bethune Beach. So again, we're looking at stuff out of our area. That's why, with nothing actually confirmed right now, we're just going to go back to the streaming radar. We would stick with this in our area, but we had to, talk about things there because it got so bad around Lake Mary with a, clear tornado in progress there on 940 this morning around the interstate, I-4 in Central Florida. So very serious how things can take that turn just all of a sudden there in the meteorology world. Again, if we need to pop back in for stuff, across the state, we will. Our local area is looking better right now. If we get another confirmed tornado with this, we'll go ahead and pop back in here at once, with this cluster there near I-95. Just continuing to track it here. You got to be careful. Don't want to be driving on I-95 right now, anywhere from around areas near Glencoe, probably, to about, just north of Scottsmore. So, that southern area is starting to really take off, moving toward Oak Hill and Ariel there in Volusia County. It's not, like the other area was in Seminole County, but still, got to be careful. And if we need to pop back, and we will, we're going to leave this running. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in. Trust in me. We'll leave it running a little longer. And then, again, come back on if something really ramps back up down there. It's not that far off from doing that near I-95. So, got to be mindful of that. For now, though, thanks so much for tuning in. But we're going to leave that radar image and imagery running.